In today's video, I bring you to Spain's most remote island, El Hierro. It was historically known as the edge of the unknown world and is the smallest and least populated of the Canary Islands. The island is technically in Africa, but since it's part of Spain, it falls within the jurisdiction of the EU. It's a place that's untouched by the hustle of the mainland, a place where time practically stands still, as farmers tend to their sheep and fishermen still bring back their daily catch. Yet this island has rapidly become the hotspot and first chapter for the arrival of tens of thousands of migrants that arrive here on boats, coming from the coast of Northwest Africa, searching for a better life. In 2024 alone, more than 19,000 migrants arrived, mostly young men, nearly doubling the island's population, and over 46,000 arrived to all the Canary Islands in 2024. If you were to just spend time in the tourist-filled beaches of Tenerife or the sun-kissed alleys of Malaga, you would hardly know the gravity of the situation. But the locals feel strongly, and there's a rising tension, not only in Spain, but all over Europe.
They want to destroy our identity.
We have ghettos. It's dangerous there. That was never here.
Acogemos a todo el mundo, no discriminamos a nadie, pero humildemente y honradamente, no a robarle a las señoras ancianas aquí.
We will speak with not only the locals, but also the migrants who risked their lives without knowing the true difficulties that would lie ahead in their journey.
7 days in the sea, 7 people died. I prefer to live here and die here. Africa is fire.
And let me just say, I was totally shocked at the systematic way in which this is happening to this quaint and peaceful island, day after day after day.
Every day.
We begin our journey in Las Palmas de Gran Canaria, one of 2 major urban areas of the archipelago, where thousands of migrants are housed as they wait to get transferred to mainland Europe. Our goal is to speak with locals of all different backgrounds to get the idea of how they feel about this crisis before we catch 2 flights to the last island. Upon getting off the ferry, we noticed 2 big busloads of migrants arriving. I was actually quite surprised because I had only seen this on news reports on YouTube before, but it's the first thing I saw when getting off the tourist ferry. There's a huge group. Oh my God.
Every day, 600, 700, 800, 1000, los que no sabemos que llegan aquí, se van corriendo por ahí. De loco.
¿Y quiénes está pagando?
Eso paga nosotros, hermano. Comen, visten y todo gracias a lo que aportamos nosotros con nuestros impuestos. Su sanidad de ellos, su comida, todo. Everything.
What are your thoughts on the migration crisis that's happening here in the Canary Islands?
Well, the migration is everywhere a problem, but of course the island can have just so many people. People come over here without papers or without it. Brings, of course, a lot of problems to others. Is it good? Is it bad? For me, if somebody, escapes and comes of war, of this, but just to come over here because you think you're going to make more money, that is stupid. That is idiot. And you don't help the society. And that is my opinion because I live here. I'm a musician, and now it's not allowed no more nothing. They're putting us in a place that we cannot move. We cannot make money in a normal way. We have to eat. It's very difficult. So actually, it's like they're telling you, man, go to steal. So we're trying to survive as best as we can. But for normal immigrants, who try to make a better life, it's very difficult. They should be a little bit more open-minded, or at least give me a permit. I cannot get a permit because, I'm a foreigner. The political system doesn't help at all, even if you want to go legal.
Yeah.
So it's very, very difficult, my friend. We're all in the same shit. The problem is we speak English, we come from Europe, so it's a little bit easier for us, Now the mentality and the thinking sometimes of black people, I'm not racist at all, is a little bit different, So they don't engage, with the community. And that brings a lot of problems, my friend. There's a lot of problems. So you create ghettos. And now we start getting ghettos. We have ghettos. It's dangerous there. That was never here. The ones who come here, and work normally and don't be a problem, do not any criminal things, they should give these people a chance. The rest, kick them out, man. If you got caught with something, you come here for the wrong reason. So go and do that in your country. And if you're scared to do it there, why you come here to do it? So that is my opinion. I don't think that migration or a migrant is a bad thing, but he has to adapt.
This very nice. All the people should welcome in Europe. 2 millones de personas viven de pescadores en Senegal. Pero el gobierno corrupto en Senegal se venden las concesiones a Europa y China y ahora no tienen más a comer.
No tienen trabajo.
No tienen trabajo y no tienen a comer a su familia, ¿sabes?
Europe needs this immigration, you feel.
Yes.
Why do you feel that?
I don't know, but when Europe take the fish in su country, they coming here, but don't have a seat.
This guy isn't wrong. In recent decades, Senegal's once abundant fisheries have been overexploited by industrial fishing fleets, particularly from the EU and China. These massive trawlers use advanced technology to harvest enormous quantities of fish, often far beyond sustainable levels. Despite regulations, illegal and unreported fishing continues to devastate fish populations.
Aquí los canarios recibimos a todo el mundo. Acogemos a todo el mundo, no discriminamos a nadie, pero humildemente y honradamente. No a robarle a las señoras ancianas aquí. Aquí el canario se está muriendo de hambre, hermano. Mira para acá. Aquí el canario se está muriendo de hambre, compadre. ¿Por qué? Porque los canarios no tenemos trabajo aquí, porque hay... Hermano, que no tenemos trabajo, compadre. Que vete por las calles, hay un montón de gente botando cartones en las calles, canarios. Y no son borrachos, ni drogadictos. Personas que no tienen casa donde vivir. Canarios.
The immigration in Canary Islands is a big issue, not only from Africa, but from Europe. In Canary Islands, we are the poorest community in Spain, and we can't receive so many people because we can't find like houses and a place to live in. From Africa, we can't take all the people that come from there because we have no space here. I don't think that immigration causes more criminality. It's not true. There are some people that obviously do bad things, but there's no all the immigrant persons. So I think that it's a pretty tricky situation.
Opino que la migración pues no es malo tampoco, yo creo que todos nos merecemos un futuro digno, pero sí es cierto que no se deben dar ayudas a quien no las quiere aprovechar y no quiere progresar. Y si vienes aquí pues es para progresar, para buscarte un futuro, para ser mejor persona. Sí que ha causado varios problemas pues porque se les ha dado mucha libertad, yo creo, y es eso, el recibir ayudas y no esperar nada a cambio de ellos. Quizás pues no sé, si vienes y te dan una ayuda, pues lo mínimo es buscarte un trabajo, querer estudiar, porque te están dando esa oportunidad y esa oportunidad no la tiene todo el mundo. Que le den una ayuda a una persona que viene de fuera, que no quiere estudiar, y a mí, porque mi padre sea autónomo, no me dé ni un euro de beca, y yo creo que eso no
es justo.
Sentido, no. Que yo también creo que una vez el resto de personas del país vean lo cómodo que pueden vivir aquí sin dar nada a cambio, yo creo que esto pues se llenará poco a poco de muchos inmigrantes y pues nos van a invadir, creo yo. Bueno, yo misma, a mí no me gustaría vivir aquí en un futuro ni en España, a mí me gustaría irme al extranjero y yo creo que son países que progresarán mucho mejor.
While filming this video in Las Palmas for my Spanish channel, I unexpectedly ran into a migrant who spoke English in what locals call the favelas of the city. He was really cool and he told us how much being smuggled costs. Before you blame the migrant, you have to understand that these migrants are human trafficked by the mafia for hundreds to thousands of dollars each. They are told that an easy life awaits them in Europe. They are used as pawns in a bigger game. The European politicians are obliged to allocate millions of euros to rescue, house, feed, clothe, and transport these migrants, among other things. Many don't speak Spanish or English and end up in the street, completely destitute, often regretting their decision. Meanwhile, you have young people from some of these same countries with high studies, speaking multiple languages, who do everything correct and wait years to come legally, if they're lucky. It's a totally broken system.
English and Spanish both.
Interesting.
From Morocco here with boat.
Yeah.
I spent 1,000 euros to came here, but I suffer a lot. But thank God, I am here today. 9 years here. When you behave good to the people behave good to you.
Yeah, for sure.
You
Respect.
know, this is why I'm looking at my daily bread with this.
You usually go asking to clean cars.
Yeah.
Well, what's your name?
Mamadou.
Mucho gusto, Mamadou.
Okay.
You came here on a cayuco, on a raft, from Laayoune, Morocco, 9 years ago. How do you feel about other migrants from Africa arriving nowadays? It's different, right?
Yeah, really different because I prefer to live here and die here than to live in Africa.
Yeah.
Because Africa is fire. God let God sorry for me. You know, for me.
Yeah.
Then I can never tell anyone, all of my friends, to take boat to cross this sea because it's very perilous, it's very dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous.
Yeah. It's película. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
película.
it's a movie. It's a movie.
Modern movie. 7 days in the sea, 7 people dies. When the people die, we throw it in the water.
So you recommend to the migrants don't cross. You recommend it's too dangerous.
Yeah, of course. I never tell anyone to cross the sea to come here because then you reach here, you have to suffer a lot. Because the African people, we think when you reach to Europe, you just take the money and go back. Yes. You know, some of our brothers fool us. They can spend 50 years, 100 years, they can never tell you the truth. They're going to Africa with 1 cars, going all up and down, boom, boom, boom. So you have money in Africa, people can never value you. They value the people who come from Europe to America. You know what I mean? This is what everyone wants to come, but listen, I reached here, then told me that 3 years before you have paper. Now I am here 9 years without paper. How can I make my passport? I need to go to Africa to first new passport.
Yeah.
I never go. So I prefer to live, but don't die without paper.
You want to stay here. This is where you feel comfortable.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of Canary.
How do you feel about many hundreds or thousands arriving every day with the Red Cross? They seem like they get more help than you, right?
Yeah, because they're getting. For me, they are stupid. It's not because we the African people, we are stupid, but we don't like the truth. It's not important to cross the sea to come here because you came here, you suffer more than to Africa.
Really?
Because the help is only one moment. Like me now, if I don't know how to look for my daily bread like this, I need to go steal or do bad. Then later the people say, no, this black boy is rude boy, this boy. It's really hard, eh? Europe, it is hard.
Yeah.
But you gotta be strong.
You wanna go get some food somewhere?
Of course.
You wanna join us?
Yeah, appreciate with you. I am in Gran Canaria. I will never forget all the family. But it's just because of the time things is very hard here. Thank you to help me because she really helped me to come here, to spend everything for me, to reach here. I'm really proud of her.
Yeah.
Let God bless her with her house, more with her children, with everything.
Well, right now it's a big problem because here it's happening like in other places in Latin America. There is no work for the guys that work here, and it's horrible.
So you're saying there's no work for the local Canary Islanders?
No local. It's full out of control here.
Do you think the immigration from Africa in the last few years, has this been problematic for the people or not really?
A few, it's not a problem. The problem is that they are coming a lot here, and that's a real problem. Not a few of them, it's all right, but many of them, it's a big problem. The majority of the crimes that are committed here are committed by some people that immigrate here, so that's a problem, yeah.
No siento que sea ni positivo ni negativo porque como inmigrante siento que todos tenemos la oportunidad de, pues nada, de empezar de cero. Sin embargo, como hay venezolanos y como hay otros inmigrantes de cualquier otro país que pues nada, por pensar que están fuera de su país pueden hacer lo que les da la gana, siento que no es justo con las personas que vienen a trabajar, con las personas que sí le están echando ganas, por decirlo así. Entonces, pues nada, siento que hay personas que se aprovechan como hay otras que son aprovechadas.
Ya, porque ustedes cotizan, ¿no? Y trabajan, these guys pay taxes, ustedes están pagando para las personas que reciben hoteles, etc.
Exactamente,
Entonces, ¿eso te indigna un poco?
Claro, porque mientras yo estoy trabajando y me quitan cierta parte de mi sueldo, otra persona se beneficia de mi trabajo. Exacto. Entonces no es justo. Siento que no es justo porque bastante ganas que uno le echa.
Sí. Los marroquíes son un gremio muy acogido en Canarias desde hace muchos siglos y se han integrado a la sociedad canaria, trabajadores, padres de familia con sus mujeres y sus hijos. Muy buena gente. He notado que en las últimas décadas los canarios tenemos un poco de miedo. La masificación de tanto migrante sin saber dónde ir. Vagan por las calles bien vestidos de Praga y de Gucci. Pero no me vale que un señor que no tiene cultura vaya con un Nike, un móvil de $300, caminando por la calle con los Walkman y su gorra de bebé y diga, hey man, fumamos Mickey esta tarde. Y ellos viven feliz y los canarios trabajamos de 7 de la mañana a 7 de la tarde para sacar un poco de dinero para vivir. Y no es normal que esto sea así. Los países civilizados se precian por acoger, atender, transformar ese señor que llega a este país de su cultura, que mantenga lo necesario en su alma, pero que practique la nuestra si estás en esta tierra. Adáptate y te quedas. No te adaptas, te vas. No hay leyes, no hay fórmulas, no hay consenso para poder hacer eso. Y me duele, Elliot, me duele, porque es mi tierra y la quiero sobre todas las cosas.
Me llamo Angora, yo soy de Senegal.
¿Cuánto tiempo llevas en España?
1 año y 4 meses.
Se nota que hablas bien el español, me alegro por ti.
Sí, gracias.
¿Estudiaste español?
Antes, ahora no.
¿Cuál es tu plan para el futuro? ¿Quieres vivir en España o en Francia o en Senegal?
Yo prefiero sentar en España. En Canarias, mejor.
¿La vida es difícil aquí para ti?
Sí, es antes muy difícil. La vida siempre va difícil. Nosotros siempre buscando trabajar para ayudar con mi familia, eso. Estamos en España para buscar trabajar.
¿Qué tipo de trabajo te gustaría?
A mí me gusta mecánico.
¿Mecánico? Sí. Bien, bien, bien. ¿Para cruzar el mar tuviste que pagar persona?
Sí.
¿Cuánto tuviste que pagar?
Hay 1.400.
¿Es mucho?
Mucho, sí.
¿Las personas de Senegal tienen problemas con otros países como de Marruecos o todos son amigos?
Todos son amigos. Nosotros somos musulmanos, no tenemos problema con Marruecos. Sí. Hay otro país también.
¿Cómo te tratan los españoles, las personas de aquí? ¿Cómo te tratan?
Hay veces mal, hay veces bien. Ahí tiene mucha gente te gusta en África, hay otra gente no te gusta en africano.
Hay buena gente y mala gente en todo el mundo.
Yo en España hay mucha gente que te gusta en africano.
Bueno, muchísimas gracias y espero lo mejor para ti, ¿vale?
Muchísimas de nada.
Now it was time to pack up and catch 2 small flights to El Hierro. It was 130 euros as a non-resident, but thankfully the car and the hotels were much cheaper than the main islands, and a car was absolutely necessary for this island. The island was absolutely astounding, and I had always wondered what it would be like. I can tell you, the culture is magnificent, and it feels like going back in time. If you want a full cultural video of what life is like on the island, please let me know in the comments. Sadly, cultural videos don't usually get a lot of views, so I usually put them on my YouTube memberships page or my Patreon.
Well, as you guys can see, we are officially in the island of El Hierro. What an impactful place. These waves are the biggest waves I've ever seen in my life. And look at this massive cliff behind us. This is astounding. I feel like I'm in Jurassic Park. Maybe this is what people feel like when they go to Hawaii for the first time, but I'll tell you guys something. This is like 1/4 of the price. But people don't really come here too much because it is quite far out, quite isolated. It is a hassle to get here. And I just want to go around the island to show you guys this absolutely amazing place before we head to the place that is being inundated with rafts and boats arriving from the west coast of Africa. Tens of thousands of migrants have arrived here the last few years. But let's just take a moment to appreciate this beauty. Interesting fact, this is a near vertical cliff, but there are some trails, some ancient trails where goats used to climb up. The men in the village told me just earlier. Another interesting fact is where I'm standing, many people over the years have drowned because if you go out here, some of the waves, as you can see in the distance, are absolutely massive. So yeah, people might get swept off, and you can see some floating wood here that was damaged. This is all wet. Very, very dangerous. But yeah, you guys, I want to stay on topic, but what a marvelous place. What an amazing thing Mother Nature has done. I cannot believe that I did not learn about this stuff in school, and I only learned about this as an adult, that places like the Canary Islands existed. But just think, like, you risk your life, you almost drown, you came from a third world country, you're young man, and then, you know, you get to a place like this where they give you medicine, they give you help, housing, cell phone, clothes, you get to hang out and go to the beach. Like, you're not gonna wanna go back to Africa, let's be honest. I met a politician yesterday who said that he wants to train them. They want to get funding to train the kids, to educate them, to, you know, give them a skill, and then they have to go back home. I just don't think that would happen. If I'm from Africa, a third world country, even if I do get the skill, I'm not going to want to go home. This is a paradise. And then if you don't stay here, I mean, Europe is a paradise in itself. Obviously, it's not as easy as they make it sound. You know, after the initial help, they do get, you know, sometimes thrown to the wolves. Okay, so this is the first time I saw this. I didn't expect to see this. There we go, La Frontera. There's a lot of them, like at least 15 of them. You know, they have a Canary Island worker that's, you know, their chaperone, their social worker, whatever. You know, what's blowing my mind about this place is I'm just seeing life unfold here. This guy working here, the guy's deaf right there, just chilling, smoking a cig. We got some people coming home from school, the cars passing by. I feel like we're on a different planet, you know. At the same time, there's people going to work in Chicago, or there's people, you know, hustling in Madrid. And my whole life, I never knew this existed, and life was just standing still here. Time goes extra slow on the island, and people are just living in peace. Ultra security here. Even with the migrants, I don't think it's very dangerous. It is just a huge, massive task to tackle, though, with so many of them arriving. I've been going up to every single local I can and ask them to give me information, how they feel. And they said if you talk about this topic, they're extremely pissed off and tired. And they said if you talk about this public, you get punished by the local government. What does that mean? Well, maybe they'll make it difficult for you to do some paperwork with the town hall. Maybe they won't renew your papers, or any sort of bureaucratic thing that you need to do, they punish you. And I said, you guys, this is socialism. This is what they do in socialist countries. And they're like, yep, exactly. That's what's going on here, you guys. That's why they won't speak. They're scared of being labeled as a racist or someone that's against the government, when really everyone has a strong opinion about it here. All right, we found something here. This is like a little farm area up in the middle of nowhere, and we have informal tents being set up. I can't tell what organization. I think it's the police. All these informal tents, and I can see, I don't know, at least 15 to 20 migrants there wearing Red Cross blankets from the cold. Maybe they have just arrived. This is what we're seeing right here. This is one of the encampments of the adult. I can go there and ask them if I can film more, but I highly doubt it. So yeah, this is the National Police here. So, oh my God, it looks like a military encampment, you guys. It looks like a first aid station, you know, like after a battle or something. Crazy to see, and it's right out here in the middle of this agricultural field. Wow, I cannot believe this, because this is so beautiful. We're on the island, a small island. You can't even tell that we're on an island right now. I just talked to the police, and they said I can't record it, even though I already got some footage from the outside. Now we're gonna head down to the port. But obviously it's directly and indirectly affecting the locals here. I mean, look at this beautiful land. Only 10,000 native locals, and more people in 2024, more migrants. Thousands, tens of thousands arrived here, and who knows what 2025 will be like. Yeah, this was just an old little stable for people that like horses. History in the making. Have a look at this as we go down to the coast, these beautiful alpine forests, and right before you know it, we're gonna be at the coast where there's palm trees and a much warmer temperature. We made it to the famous port in Restinga. All these buildings here are the Red Cross, the people who saved the lives of the migrants. Now that is a boat that arrived this morning. I'm gonna zoom in. Sorry for the wind, it's extremely windy. They said if they didn't save that boat, if it was out there for 5 more minutes, everyone on that boat would have drowned. So it's still docked there. It's kind of creepy to see, kind of weird. We're gonna go see if we can approach this area to see what it's like more. But yeah, that was from this morning. They said every single day people are arriving to this general area. So this is what the Red Cross sees. This is a zone I can't access, but the Red Cross is down here. There's the 2 Coast Guard ships, which is quite unusual for a small port like this, the city of Restinga. And let's check this out. In the vast Atlantic Ocean, we have thousands of miles in that direction. That would be where they come from. They come here with a cell phone. They know as soon as they get close, if they get close, they can call, and then boom, these guys get activated, and then all the Red Cross comes down here. There's all the chatter in the village. All right, we have a cayuco or a boat coming. We have to save them. So the European Union obviously does a wonderful job at saving these people, but the people in the village, yeah, are very tired of this. They didn't have to deal with this years ago at the same level. And then from here, they go inland to the camp where we saw earlier. And then from there, they get sent on a ferry after they get processed or whatever, sent to the other Canary Islands. And then from there, who knows where they go, what they do, what their intentions are, which nationalities they are, and what their final destination will be. That's what we're living right now in the year of 2025. 55 migrants arrived this morning. There was a mother and a 4-year-old girl. So yes, he said, just recently, the last few years, children and women are arriving. He said, sadly, sometimes the mothers go to the boats in Senegal and they drop their kids off, and the kids hope that maybe one day they'll see each other again. Up in the capital city, there's a center for the children. The children have a different process for what they do from here. And we're just seeing the remnants of what's happening. We have these 2 big boats here, and this one was from yesterday. They cut it up. And then there's this one, which is this morning. So another thing that they have to deal with is they have to deal with trench foot, because there's urine, feces, gas, salt water all mixed in there, and they're sleeping on this. They're sleeping on this boat. This was here for 8 days and 8 nights, and their feet are submerged into this, which is why they get trench foot. If they have an open cut, they're screwed. He also said that the knees of the migrants rub against each other because they're tightly packed in there, and they have to sleep basically in a sitting formation. It is really tragic. And he said when it's nighttime, they can't see anything. It's just a black hole. They don't know anything that's out there.
And so yeah, that's the side of the migrants. Very sad, but very interesting and important to know at the same time. Obviously, this place is a small little fisherman's village, and so many people, maybe like these guys here playing dominoes, live from fishing and from snorkeling and tourism. But when the migrants come, that takes priority, and the port gets entirely shut down, so maybe it's affecting the economy as well. While leaving the tiny port town of Restinga, two interesting things happened. One, I discovered a hidden banana greenhouse literally at one of the furthest southern points in the EU where a few migrants were working. In fact, a really nice migrant let me interview him there. I never expected this one. Secondly, while out with a new friend I made on the island, we encountered a new bus full of migrants that had just arrived. When we were going to see the bus, people from an NGO did not like what we were filming, so they made the police check our documents, to which our checks came back clean. Obviously, since we were in a public area, we could legally film this. Around 30 new migrants arrived, which was quite a slow day on the island. I just thought it was odd how they don't want us to see what's going on. We have a greenhouse here, so it's extremely hot and sweaty in here. On the outside, a little bit more dry, but I found a Venezuelan working here who has Canarian roots. I just find it very fascinating because in 1 minute, we're basically in like a jungle environment, right? This is like a jungle, and then boom, we step out and it is volcanica. And he's been telling me, you know, it's nice to work here, and he's got his connections, the family connections, the Spanish passport, etc. This is very typical. Anyways, these are also avocados. So we're mixing the politics with the geography, with the history, and with the culture and the language. Gotta love it.
Me llamo Sana Mario.
¿Cuántos años llevas aquí trabajando?
Sí, casi llevo 2 años y medio trabajando aquí.
¿Y por qué quedaste en la isla y tus paisanos han ido a otra parte de España?
En el año 2021 yo llegaba aquí en la Restinga con Cayuco y nos quedamos aquí un mes y después nos llevaron a Tenerife. Y tienes que llevar cada grupo a un lugar. Yo me quedo a Tenerife y ahí encontré una señora y me presentó ONG, sí, una ONG que ahí yo me quedo un par de meses, empecé a arreglar algunos papeles para solicitar asilo para poder quedar aquí. Y después tengo un permiso de trabajo.
Ahora esto es un trabajo temporal.
No, es un trabajo fijo. Sí.
Estás cotizando, entonces,
sí,
bien.
Estoy trabajando con
¿Qué te gustaría hacer en tu vida?
Hemos llegado aquí para cambiar nuestra vida, poco a poco, pero no es fácil, pero poco a poco estamos intentando hacer la cosa bien. Pero yo me gustaría hacer una formación para la electricidad.
¿Tú quieres ser electricista?
Sí.
Muy bien, yo creo que tú lo puedes hacer.
Había 2 cosas que yo he tenido en mi cabeza, llegar o morir. Y eso lo tenía claro en mi cabeza. 2 cosas claro. Llegar a España o morir en el mar. Y por eso en el miedo no lo tenía.
En inglés decimos you decided your fate.
Vale. Pero yo lo que aconsejo y la gente que no se arriesga de coger el barco. Si hay otra manera más fácil, pero también los gobiernos tienen que hacer alguna cosa para facilitar los visas.
Porque se nota que aquí están trabajando inmigrantes. Tú, tu amigo, un venezolano. Y me alegro por eso, la verdad, me alegro verlo.
Sí.
Y bueno, hermano, mucho gusto, gracias por tu testimonio. Porque para enseñar la realidad hay que hablar con inmigrantes, con policía, con personas de la isla.
Sí, claro.
Y mucha gente solo ve las pateras, los cayucos,
sí,
y juzgan sin saber nada.
Sin saber lo que la gente trae dentro. Para vivir aquí, tienen que aceptar la realidad de aquí. Tengo que aceptarlo.
Tienes que integrar y lo estás integrando.
Sí, lo estoy haciendo bien y gracias a Dios estoy viviendo con gente que son buena gente y que me han cogido bien. Y por eso me facilita adaptarme. Sí.
What's up, bro? ¿Qué tal?
Okay.
Mucho gusto.
Igualmente.
And they speak Wolof. So one speaks English, French, and then so all of us together, we speak Spanish to communicate. Estamos hablando español para que nos conozcamos.
Yeah.
God bless y'all.
Thank you.
Best luck.
Ciao.
And thank you for speaking to me.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
The thing is you meet a lot of nice migrants. It's true, and they learn Spanish, and it's really impressive because they speak 3 or 4 languages. They're hard workers, etc. They truly are looking for opportunities and a better life. But then when you go to places where, for example, ghettos are formed, southeast of Spain in Almeria, or cities in France or London, who knows, what happens is you get quite a lot of bad eggs in those places that ruin it for all the good immigrants. And when I say bad eggs,
they can be really bad eggs. And the thing is in Europe, they can easily get away with a lot of things. And you know, what happens in those ghettos sort of stays in the ghettos. And people from Spain, for example, that live near those ghettos can tell you horror stories for days about it. And then you'll have people that say, no, that's not true, da 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 da. I know immigrants like the ones we just met. Not a black and white situation, a lot of gray in between.
Guys, check this out. This is just insane. The change in vegetation. By the way, it's actually really cold up here. And at the coast, man, I was just toasted in that plantain farm.
Once they get inside the detention center, essentially, once they get inside, then that's off limits. But in the public, we can record. And there's the police registering them, freshly arrived. Alberto says we can record from here. They're like, what's going on? Here they come. Alberto's gonna talk to them in Spanish.
Hola, buenas, ¿qué tal? No, observando aquí la llegada. Estamos en el lugar público. Borramos tu cara, tranquilo, no pasa nada. Sí, sí, no vas a salir tú públicamente en ningún sitio. Simplemente estamos documentando la llegada de migrantes. Sí, claro, sin problema ninguno. Caño la madre. Uepa.
All right, now they're checking our IDs. Interesting. They're checking our IDs. So we have to give them our documents.
Yes, without problem. Yeah, no problem with that. You need to be documented every time.
We're not here to record the police, not even the migrants' faces. We just want to see what's going on. They just arrived. Some of them might be, well, no, they have to be adults, right? No, the minors wouldn't come here, right?
No. Okay. They don't come here.
They have to be adults.
Yeah,
but
only adults. Yeah.
They might not.
There is no minors that want to be adults. Mm-hmm. It's like adults want to be minors for the benefits, but no minors want to be an adult.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, probably they came today and they had injuries. Yeah,
from
probably.
Sitting down,
yeah,
from
probably.
rubbing their legs.
Probably.
This is history, what we're seeing right here.
Gracias, caballero.
Gracias.
Buen día.
That's that. So you got to know your rights. When I came here the other day, they told me if I record this, they can take my camera and...
No, they can't. You are in a public area. You can be free to film or take photo of whatever you want. Like all the adults want to go out.
The adults want to go to Tenerife and then to mainland Europe.
Yeah, because of the law, the minors need to stay here. They are trying to push the law to take the minors to other communities.
So I'm on the ferry back to Tenerife, and the ferry's quite nice. Check it out. But through here, we have a handful, a large group of migrants, and we're not allowed to go there. The more I see into it, the more they say, you can't go there, you can't see this, you can't see that. The way they control this, it's just like a systematic thing that is really just, the only way to describe it is just absolutely bizarre.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. A massive line of fresh arrivals from El Hierro. So maybe they're the same ones that I saw yesterday.
As we reach the end of our journey, we realize that no matter where you are on the political spectrum, that this is completely unsustainable. The uncontrolled influx is straining local resources, disrupting small island communities, and exposing the migrants to dangerous and deadly journeys. Meanwhile, we don't know anything about the migrants themselves as they dispose of their documents before arrival. While their waters are overfished, each migrant has supplied hundreds to thousands of dollars to a multi-million-dollar human trafficking industry. What would happen if they stayed in their countries with that money? The impact extends beyond the islands. Spain and the broader EU face monumental challenges from housing and integration to border security and political tensions. Without effective policies that address the root causes, poverty, political instability, and shady financing of NGOs, the cycle will continue. One thing is for certain, Europe needs to wake up.
Well, we have a lot of problems with illegal immigration and also with legal immigration because we are being subsidized by migrants, and that problem is because big companies, people with a lot of money prefers to have migrants, can pay less salary than us, and also they want to destroy our identity. So both of the problems, the economical problem and also related to our identity. People are not going to be able to fight without identity, and if you put a lot of migrants here in Spain, well, you're going to find is they are not natives, and if you don't have natives, nobody's going to defend Spain. You can put 300 Spanish people in Kenya, in a neighborhood of Kenya. That neighborhood is not going to be Kenya anymore. That's what happened here in Spain. That's what is happening in France for decades, and we don't want Spain to become France. The statistics and the figures we have here, what we are gonna find is those people commit more crime than native people. It's a fact. Politics don't want to talk about this, but it's a fact. Migrant people commit more crime in the proportion, of course, with Spanish people. And that is causing unsafety in our neighborhoods, also the loss of identity, and the salaries are not increasing. This is very important with the salaries, because if you have 1,000 migrants who accept this working condition, are going to accept it. We have been fighting a lot for our rights, our life condition, and we don't want to come poor, richer people using the immigration to reduce the salaries of Spanish people. But we don't need migrants, we need better working conditions.
If you found value in this video and you want to support my adventures to make more videos like this, please check the links to my YouTube memberships and Patreon, or other ways to donate, in the description. I appreciate all the views, all the feedback, and I'll see you guys on the next video.